I have been obsessed with handhelds ever since my first Pokemon game for the Game Boy Color back in 1999. This duo started my love for gaming, but what took it to the next level was the Game Boy Advance SP. My little brother got one before me, but eventually I did enough house chores to get my very own for my birthday many years later. It blew my mind. My favourite games consoles now with graphically enhanced games paired with hardware that snaps in half and opens up to reveal a screen and a light. I spent countless hours on this console and I still do to this day in various ways. Firstly with my limited edition Game Boy Advance SP and then with handheld emulators. Between the time I got a Game Boy Advance SP and now, I have had very little time to explore most clamshell handhelds that came out in that time. Yes, there was the Nintendo DS, but I didn't have my own when that released. I saved up for a Nintendo DSi very late in my life while I was travelling, but it wasn't until now that I have fallen back in love with these ugly yet lovable, pocketable devices. And that's thanks to not one, but two handhelds that were recently delivered to my house, both within a couple of weeks of each other, and my review process took me to a nostalgic time of being immersed by these things. So today I want to share with you two clamshell handheld emulators that I cannot put down. One starting at $65 that's aimed towards the Game Boy Advance SP lovers, and this can emulate everything up to Dreamcast. And then there is the $199 version called the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 that can emulate everything up to and including PlayStation 2. These two have relit my love for clamshell handhelds. So let's dive into each of them and find out which one suits you best. Let's start with the RG34XX-SP. I know it's an awful name, one that ANBERNIC has stuck to for many years, and this isn't to be confused with the RG35XX-SP that released a year ago. That's its older brother and now slightly outdated. The older brother was a superb device and has been sitting high in my top 10 article for a year now. But ANBERNIC has now released an updated version which features two new analog sticks, a slightly better display, and more RAM, all for the same price. This opens up the ability to explore Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and PSP games in a more natural way thanks to the added sticks and added RAM. These new updates have made this one of the best affordable retro handhelds on the market as of now. For just $65, this feels and looks like an original Game Boy Advance SP with design and button layouts copied as best as they can without being sued by Nintendo. The shoulder buttons look and feel just as they did when I was a child. They have somehow emulated the not so fluid clamshell opening feel, copying the rubber placement to make it feel and sound like it did in the early 2000s, but upgraded the axle to alloy to make it last for years to come without breaking, alongside small magnets to keep it shut when it's transported. This pocket-friendly device matched with an affordable price makes it an easily accessible emulator for newcomers to the scene, with my own review unit being preloaded with many retro games straight out of the box, which is typically a no-no for handheld companies like this. They shouldn't be preloading the SD cards. They used to a couple of years ago, but now it's kind of hit and miss. So don't promise yourself with the fact that they're going to preload it for you. When you buy it, you might have to install your own ROMs yourself. Just like previous ANBERNIC products, the Linux operating system isn't the best. It's very simple and feels like something designed from the 90s, which is fitting, I guess, but as mentioned in older reviews, ANBERNIC could do better here. It's easy to understand, fluid to navigate, but it's not one you're going to enjoy seeing every single day. I wish they put more care into it. The H700 quad-core CPU collaborating with the 2GB of RAM makes this a great entry-tier device, allowing you to emulate an array of retro consoles up to and including Dreamcast. Dreamcast games, like others, come with a very small border and great frame rates, matched with a bright display that feels nostalgic to use. Nintendo 64, the same, offering a fun way to play these consoles on a small clamshell device with a joystick. Your older classics like Mega Drive, Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, and PS1 will all work well on here, ready to go with just a few presses from the menu button. Some of you may be looking for more power in a form factor like this and with longer battery life. There's no denying that sometimes the RG34XX-SP can surprise you with how quickly it drains battery. But that means you might have to upgrade to the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 if you're after more power, longer battery life, and a better screen. This is GoRetroid's flagship clamshell device, their second version of the Flip. The original received a lot of attention, and although great, it wasn't perfect and featured a terrible hinge that could be broken with a small amount of pressure. But now they've invested more time and money into the second version, creating one of the best Android handhelds on the block for $199. Yes, this is considerably more than the RG34XX SP, but this is in a different price range. This is technically a premium retro handheld, and there's many reasons why I think you'll like it. Firstly, it comes with a mighty Snapdragon 865 CPU, an Adreno 650 GPU, 8GB of RAM, a 5000 mAh battery, and a giant 5.5-inch AMOLED display wrapped in a nostalgic Nintendo DS-like body with LED Hall joysticks, analog triggers, and long-lasting injection-molded action buttons. It's the perfect single clamshell handheld. I mentioned my issue with ANBERNIC's front end, so you'll be glad to know that GoRetroid has created a custom launcher that updates itself and pre-installs the best Android emulation applications on the device when you get it out of the box. Once your ROMs are installed and organized, it will look and feel like a console that Nintendo has made themselves, with your games and box art designed to be consumed in a unique manner. Some box art files I don't have, but GoRetroid's team have added unique features to download this for you within their launcher, allowing gamers to create a complete box art collection to make their collection look flawless on the screen. GoRetroid is one of the best handheld emulator companies out there, and the Flip 2 just goes to show how much they care about retro gamers. Due to the sheer power of this thing, it can emulate your favorite PlayStation 2 games at native resolution, and sometimes 2x depending on the type of game. One game that many handhelds struggle with is Need for Speed Most Wanted, and here I managed to push it to its limits at 1.5x native resolution, running incredibly well. It's crazy to think this is where we're at. A couple of years ago, we could have only dreamed about playing PlayStation 2 games on an AMOLED display in a handheld like this for under $200, and now it's possible. There are very little flaws with the Flip 2. It's a great upgrade from the original. The hinge is far more durable, the AMOLED display incredibly bright and crisp, making outdoor gaming possible. It lasts a long time on a single charge, does over-the-air updates, and it's packed with enough power to please gamers wanting emulation up to and including PS2. That's all packed into a well-built, lovely to look at device that's durable and will last for years to come. The only negatives I have, and these are small negatives, is one, the internal cooling system makes it sound like a small Harrier jet in your hand. So if you do plan on playing this in bed or in public, on a bus or somewhere that's not too loud, you're gonna get looks and you're gonna get a fist from your partner in bed. So just remember that, because it does sound incredibly loud, annoyingly loud actually, but that's what you get with handhelds of this size that require active cooling on the go when playing your high-end games. So that's just the sacrifice we have to make, so your partner better deal with it. And secondly, I feel like something is missing when it comes to design in some areas, like this blank space between the buttons. Something is missing here, and I'm not sure what it is. And then there's the top of the clamshell. There's a generic design, and to me means nothing significant to GoRetroid. Here I wish they did something cool like Nintendo did back in the day with the removable faceplates that you could add on or design yourself. That would have been a really cool, neat feature, and also a way for GoRetroid to sell small accessories alongside this handheld too. So GoRetroid, next time, give me the faceplates, please. That aside, these two incredible devices has reignited my love for clamshells. The RG34XX SP is one that I can put in my pocket when I'm heading out for the day. And then the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is my more serious device for long gaming sessions at home, and the one handheld I bring with me on week-long trips away. If you're like me and missed your Game Boy Advance SP or your Nintendo DS from the good old days, remembering the moments of gaming that brought joy to your childhood, then perhaps looking at these devices as an adult will relight your love for them. Clamshells have come a long way, but their nostalgic cuteness and practicality are still here and are flourishing amongst this new wave of devices. I think both of these coming into the office at the same time forced my hand and forced me to realize that clamshell devices are pretty damn cool. They might look a little bit quirky and take up a lot of real estate when they're opened, but actually the form factor, the portability to them is very, very adorable and very, very nostalgic, especially the smaller one. But if you want sheer power and PlayStation 2 emulation and GameCube emulation on a large 5.5-inch AMOLED display, there is now that possibility in a handheld format for just $200. And it's remarkable. It's Android. You can add your Android apps and cloud streaming and customize it to the way you please. You can even hook these up to monitors and TVs should you want to connect Bluetooth controllers to them as well, which is pretty cool. Not something I do, but there's a bunch of features there that may interest you that I have not featured. So as per usual, if you like this retro gaming content, hit subscribe. There's links below. And if you want to support us further, we do have memberships on our website for those of you that like reading our content. So as per usual, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.